It's your boy Adam Gusky. What's going on, guys? In this episode, I talked to Nazar Kulchytskyy. He is a Wisconsin/Ukrainian legend. He came to the U.S. at a relatively young age. He was high school age, and then in college went on to wrestle at UW-Oshkosh and won 3 national titles. So, super impressive career. Super nice guy. Great conversation. Before I start the show, I just want to give a shout out to Defense Soap. So last week I posted a meme, like on my meme page. For those of you guys that don't know, I run a meme page called The Defensive Pin on Instagram. Anyways, I posted a meme. It was about how every time you get ringworm, it pretty much, once you think it's gone, it comes back, because it's in your bed sheets, all that nasty stuff. Anyways, I tagged them because honestly, last year, our coaches bought defense soap for us, and it works super well. And I didn't really get ringworm like I normally do until the end of the season when I ran out of the defense soap. So I tagged them in it. Um, yeah, like 4 days later, they just sent me a box of a bunch of products. So that was super cool. It's really good stuff and it smells delicious. Love that peppermint. And they're actually not paying me to say this. I just really love their stuff. So do them a favor, go check it out. And also, I promise I'm going to start it soon. But before it starts, please make sure you're subscribed. Leave it a rating and review. Please leave it a review if you've listened to this multiple times. That's all I got for you. Let's get it rolling. All right, Nazar, how are we doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Doing
Nice.
really good.
Good stuff. What have you been up to since the quarantine started?
Um, I was lucky enough to have a room in Stoughton. I'm coaching one of my students, Luke Meckler, and he has a nice garage with wrestling mat and equipment. So I've been wrestling him. I've been lifting there. I've been coaching some kids in small groups here and there. So been staying busy, but also staying in shape.
Awesome. Where were you before that?
I was in Minneapolis, and I was training with Minnesota Storm for 2 years, last 2 years, and technically I'm still there, but right now I just moved back to Fitchburg, Wisconsin. That's where's my fiance lives. So kind of
Okay,
staying in here during quarantine, and yeah, keep doing what I'm
nice.
doing.
I have a job that I'll be moving to once like the coronavirus stuff ends, but that's in Middleton, so very close to Fitchburg.
Oh, sweet. It's really
Yeah,
close. Yeah,
it's a
awesome.
nice little area. But anyways, how did you originally get into wrestling?
So I'm from Ukraine originally, and in my town was a little town, about 10,000 people live there, and we had two sections pretty much, only soccer and wrestling. And I always wanted to be a soccer player since I was a little kid. So when I was 7, I came to soccer practice, and coach said that I was too young, that I need to wait up a year and come back next year. And then I just got into wrestling, and coach accepted me, and I got my butt kicked for first year probably, and then just got into it, won the first tournament, and the rest is history.
So, did you ever play soccer after that, or were you like once you started wrestling, that's all you were doing?
Soccer is big in Ukraine and all over the world, actually. But I played a little bit. I played for school. We needed a team. It's nothing. You don't really have a high school sports out there, but once in a while we have like a tournaments, and we just get the best kids in high school and just play some, teams. So I did that a couple times.
Nice.
Yeah, but nothing really serious.
So, I know I've talked to one other person from Ukraine, and they just talk about how different it is there versus the United States in terms of, I mean, pretty much everything, but especially just like opportunities. Would you just go into describing like the differences that you saw from living in both places?
Absolutely. So Ukraine, I would say, is a second world country. It's not a third world country, but second. And opportunities are obviously not even close as much as we can have here in the United States. We were fortunate here. Pretty much the difference is Ukraine, even though you graduate college, but it's still not an opportunity that you have a job. Like very little percentage of population out there who graduate college can get a decent job. And honestly, like only job you can get is go overseas and work out there. So a lot of people, some of my friends are driving to Poland, Germany, or doing other things, but just that's where's everybody at who actually want to make some money. In Ukraine, the only way you can make money is if some of your family is politician, or because there's big corruption out there, or maybe your family members been part of a little and like in 90s back there, it used to be little mafias going on, and a lot of people stealing lands and other stuff like that. So if some of those people affiliated with that mafia people in the past, it's another thing. You get rich, or you can have a decent amount of money, and or you're got your business going, but it's really hard to get it started out there, just again because of corruption, and you gotta get paid so much in order to get it going, and it's like almost impossible. So out there, I would say 5% or 4-5% of population actually living good, and like 95 or so are way underneath the middle class, and so it's just tough out there. And when I was young, when I was 16 or 17, my dad won green card lottery, and he asked me if I want to come over to US, and because I was under 21, that's a rule, and I wasn't really thinking about it, and I was like, I don't know, I don't want to. I have a good training situation here. I was doing pretty good in cadet level, junior level. I was part of national team out there, and so I wasn't, and my dad pretty much made me to come. He was on me. He said, "Hey, for your future, be way better. Trust me. Let's do that." And then we moved to US.
So, to rewind a little bit, what is the green card lottery literally like? Like you just put like a ticket in, and they just kind of randomly draw who gets one.
Yeah. So it's very similar. Yes. I would say every year, every person who would like to play, they just like you just fill in all the information and just submit it, to the people. And I would say only 0.5% from all those applications actually winning green card lottery. So every year, I think it's 5,000 people winning, and what's times 200 is playing. So it's really tough to win it, but
Okay.
my dad got it from first try, and some of my family played for 20 years and none of them got it.
So when you get that, is it like your whole family gets to go, or just one person?
So my dad, my mom, and me, because I'm the kid under 21 at the time, and then my brother and sister, they're older, so they didn't been able to come.
Okay. So you did come with your mom and dad.
Yep.
Okay. So, um, I guess once you came over to the U.S., what did you miss the most about Ukraine?
My friends, my family, uh, language, because I couldn't speak any English, so it
Yeah.
was tough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess you definitely take that for granted when you can
yeah.
communicate easily with people. What was that transition like those first couple months when there were totally new people, none of the people you knew before, and you didn't know the language very well?
It was really tough. I was actually, I was thinking that my English is okay, that I'll be able to communicate. But my first conversation, I just couldn't understand anything they're saying because everybody speaks so fast.
Yeah,
And
that's
and I just like,
understandable.
and I just straight up got depressed.
Oh
Uh,
man.
and it was tough. So I was still living Ukrainian life. I was on social media. I was like talking to my old friends in Ukraine, and still, kind of live in there. But eventually, I got to figure out that I need to learn English because I stuck in this country for a while. So and I started learning, and I would say first year was the most challenging, but after that I start picking up slowly.
Did did wrestling um how much did you wrestle that first year that you were here?
So I came at March, and so folk style season was over already, and so I started wrestling freestyle season. So I went to some random small tournaments. I won some of that, and then we went to state tournament in freestyle. And I didn't do Greco, I just did freestyle. So I won that, and then we went to Northern Plains, and I had to wrestle some of pretty good guys there. They hyped me up. They said like some triple crown champions, and I was like, what are that supposed to mean? It's like, oh, you won in Greco, freestyle, and folk style, and Fargo, and state, and this and that. I'm like, oh, okay. So I wrestled and I beat some of those guys, and I won Northern Plains. And in Fargo, I took third that year, so I had one loss the entire year. And the national duels too, so I have some good tournaments.
So you pretty much like dominated a lot of your first matches once you got here.
Mhm.
Did
Yeah,
that
restless.
did that like help you make friends originally though? I feel like if I saw a guy that didn't have a lot of friends, like I would want to be friends with him if he's beating up on everyone and just learn from him.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much all I had because I had a hard time to communicate. So I just made some friends to help them with the wrestling moves, and just be there for them because it's all I can do. And they actually helped me out in return, just make more friends and just communicate with me and things like that. So that's how I build a relationship, just because of wrestling.
Yeah, that's wrestling's awesome in that way. I don't think ever saw any results of you in high school. Did you not wrestle in high school?
Yeah, and then that upcoming year, when actually after Fargo, they ranked me second in the country, um,
Oh wow. In
based on
folk style?
Fargo. Yeah, and I never
Oh,
wrestled
okay.
folk style match.
Wow.
So I was excited to wrestle folk style because I was training here and there with the guys. I'm start figuring out a little bit slowly what's that folk style all about. Obviously struggling on bottom and top, but I was still fun, and they didn't let me wrestle in folk style year. They said that I technically graduated from Ukrainian school because all my credits were transferred, and I have no more credits left. So I was pretty much going in high school, just taking some classes, random ones, but I already had enough credits to graduate, transfer from Ukrainian school.
Is
And
are those schools set up the same like for high school? Is it set up the
a little
same in Ukraine?
different. A little different. In Ukraine, we have like 7 to 8 classes, and it's 45 minutes a class, and then
Okay.
and then it's 15-minute break, and then next class. So we had like 20 something classes a year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Is it 4 years?
Uh, and it's like all the way from first grade to 11th grade. We only have 11 grades actually, but
Okay.
it's all the way through. It's just same system, 45 minutes class, 15 minutes break, and just like 7, 8 of them, in one day. So a lot of homework.
Okay. Yeah, I bet. I mean, that's a ton of classes.
Mm.
Um, so then your senior year, you didn't wrestle like folk style. Were you just like kind of training on your own and trying to stay motivated that year?
I was still in high school room, and I was still training in here and there,
Okay.
and actually Mel Dahl, he's right now athletic trainer in Stoughton, and he was in
Okay.
Prairie du Chien at the time, and he's the main reason I came to Prairie du Chien. Uh, and he was great. He found me a lot of great partners. So I was going to wrestle some college guys. He brought some college guys to wrestle with me. Uh, Almost entire Wisconsin staff came to train with me. Donnie
Wow.
Pritzloff at the time, Carl Rochelle, Trevor Brandwold. Um, there's some other guys. Barry came, and so I had good training situation. Mel created that for me. So
Nice. And then fast forward to college, you end up at UW-Oshkosh. How did that? How did you end up at Oshkosh? I guess.
it's a good question. A lot of people ask me that. So uh, after after high school season was over, I wrestled a couple of freestyles, tournaments, and then I turned my ACL.
Okay.
And when I tore my ACL, I was had surgery, and I was pretty much kind of, didn't rest in Fargo or nothing. I was just out for a while, and everybody thought that all Division I schools thought that I'm gonna go to Olympic Training Center and just wrestle freestyle. That was my goal in the beginning, just do that, just trying to get as fast as possible in freestyle. And all of a sudden, I was still in crash, I was still recovering, and then Larry Marchionda, the guy who back, let's get a couple of years back, I was looking for places in US to train, and when I was 15, I emailed him. I emailed a lot of people, but he's the only one who responded. So when I was
Like
coming
from
to
Ukraine?
US, yeah, yeah, when
Okay.
I was still in Ukraine. So when we were coming to US, we knew only one guy, and it's Larry, and he was in Oshkosh. And Larry found me Mel, and then that's why we came to Pretty Cheap. But I was always, Larry is just like, he's a great, great guy, and great family. So he pretty much said that we had a great rehab situation. The Green Bay Packers Dr. McKenzie, he's there. You can do your rehab. You can take some classes, while you still cannot wrestle yet. And it's pretty much, I just got there because I trusted Larry, and I loved Oshkosh. So I got there, and got better, got recovery, and I was like, might as well start wrestling, And started wrestling, and I was 12-0 my freshman year, and then I broke my foot right before conference tournament, and
Okay.
I wanted to wrestle, but doctors didn't clear me. I had like two bones kind of snapped in my foot,
Okay.
so I couldn't wrestle that freshman year. So I was
So you were like done for the season at that point?
yeah, yeah. I wanted
Okay.
to. I want to ask them questions if they allow me to wrestle with a boot. I have that curvy boot, but they didn't. But I still
Oh,
wrestle it, like practices with it, because it didn't hurt when you have that. So, but yeah, that year was gone, so I was sad. And I wrestled exactly 12 matches, and it's 1/3 of a season. And if you wrestle 12 or more matches, the season is done
oh,
automatically. If I would not wrestle the last match with broken foot, I would have one more year eligibility.
no.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. So, and I didn't know at the time. I knew it was bad, but I didn't know that it was broken. So I
Yeah.
had to. Yeah, it was weird, but yeah. So that was my freshman year. I was 12-0 though. I wrestled pretty good. I started figuring out folk style. I was excited for nationals.
Yeah, so like in the start of that year, well, so did you start wrestling during second semester pretty much?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because I was
Okay.
still recovering from my ACL surgery and stuff like that.
Did you like were you participating with the team in the first semester?
Yeah, yeah. I was there. I didn't compete, obviously, but I was
Yeah.
there for the guys
Okay.
all the time. Yeah.
How did you like just like the initial college experience at like Division 3 school?
Oh, it was great. I loved it. The guys are awesome. I made a lot of friends. I started speaking English a little bit better, and I had some good friends there. Was always there for me, with my classes and everything. It helped me out a lot. So, and
Nice.
Chris Stratton, he's awesome. He helped me out a lot as well, especially that freshman year. He was all about what I need to take, which classes I need to take in order to be a little bit easier on me while I'm still learning English, and it played out really good.
Yeah. For those that are listening, Nazar and I were talking earlier, and Chris was also my high school coach, and he's an awesome dude. He's a good guy to have in your corner. But um, so that freshman year, like, were you just kind of did you dominate everyone you wrestled, or were there
Um,
close matches?
I had one match that maybe a couple of them, but I remember one match. It was against returning national champion. He actually wrestled for lacrosse. I believe
Who's
his
that?
last name Masif.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, yep.
I think his
So he
first name's Matt.
Yeah, Matt
One
Masif,
thing.
pretty sure. So I think it was my third match ever, and I still had a big brace and everything. I just got a big move on him and got some near fall. And I remember I maybe beat him like 9-4 or so, something like that.
Okay. Well, so
Yeah.
you beat a national champ, so who knows how you would have done if you got to continue at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But dang, that's a bummer. But that's awesome. What kind of like big moves did you hit, I guess?
So I was figuring out folk style, and I didn't like being on top. I just like to score as many takedowns as possible, and I started figuring out bottom here and there. Whatever worked for me. But I was hitting a lot of firemans and get to near falls, or as soon as I hit doubles, I lock it up behind those legs. Make sure I get near fall. So whatever I did, I was always looking for near fall, like feet to back, make sure I get near fall. And that was my main focus that year.
Yeah. Um, then going forward, you end up, I guess, to make it a real short story, you win the next 3 years national tournament. So you're a three-time national champ. Did you like what were those years like, I guess? Were they just like a breeze and were you totally dominating everyone once you got like folk style
Um,
down more?
no, not really. I had some tough matches here and there. I remember I had a match with Larson, and I think he placed a lot of time in nationals, and I don't think he ever made it to finals. He took third maybe twice. And guy from Tryon University, he's a pretty tough, like built like me, and just really good defensive wrestler. And for some reason, I choose neutral against him, and I was down 1-0 with like 10 seconds to go, and I just doubled him with like 10 seconds to go to win 2-1. So I had that match was pretty close, and I was that Pete Wilson final that everybody's
Okay.
going there. Yeah, and then I lost one match to Orlando Ponce, and he's a three-time NCAA finalist, and it's my only Division III loss. And then I wrestled him in NCAA finals that year, and it was really close match, but I ended up winning that one. So
Nice. So out of those guys or anyone else, who's the toughest Division 3 guy that you wrestled in your career at Oshkosh?
pretty sure it was Orlando Ponce.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
pretty sure it was him. He's a great competitor, and Minneapolis right now he runs this school of wrestling, and he invites me all the time to run the clinics for him, and he's an awesome dude, and we are pretty good friends right now. Um,
Cool. So I'm sure a lot of people ask you like how you think you would have done in Division 1 and that kind of stuff because obviously you dominated a ton at Division 3 level. But
mhm.
um, I totally forgot my question.
Yeah.
One sec.
Well, yeah, I got it. What are you saying? So the thing is, I'm not sure if I would practice, in Division 1 room. I think it'd be maybe a little different, just competition a little bit tougher, and just it gets you to that intensity a little more. I would say in Division 3, there's still some really, really good guys here and there, especially a couple guys at nationals who can really challenge. But and there's not too many rooms and too many guys in the room that can really challenge me at the time. And so I don't know. I know I can answer you this. When I got to Madison and started wrestling freestyle, I
Hmm.
remember that I could wrestle pretty good for a short amount of time, but the guys just like the intensity, and they can just out grind, like because they used to wrestle each other so much. So I remember that I was struggling a little bit just with my shape mostly.
Okay.
And as soon as I got into it, I've been doing pretty good. I've been wrestling anybody, and I've been feeling pretty good, scored a lot of takedowns and put on them, So I just always question they'd be like, I'm not sure how I would done.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, I'll be doing pretty good in Division 1 as well.
Yeah.
But I wrestle a lot of guys in freestyle that won national titles in D1, and I beat them. So I feel like I'll be all right out there as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I'm sure you would have had a lot of success considering the success you had at Division 3. But the question that I forgot was like what are you happy that you went Division 3 though? Like do you think you learned things from going Division 3 that you wouldn't have if you went to a Division 1 school?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I had more free time hang out, and doing other things because we didn't really had 2 practices a day, or we didn't been too strict about things like that. So I would say I had a little bit more of fun in college that way. And I can be good or bad, but I feel like I had a little bit more freedom. I had a little bit more fun in college, absolutely. And also like I play intramural soccer in college too, or I did other things while during wrestling season, and I'm sure it'd be really hard to do in D1.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of fun, and I have no regrets. Oshkosh was awesome. I love that. I like every single day of those 4 years. It was great.
Yeah. The balance is definitely, it's nice to have that. What was your daily routine like, I guess, like a day in the life of Nazar in college, like?
In college. I always trying to, be a little more professional. Since I was a little kid, my coach always made me work out twice a day. So if we had lift, I make sure I get a little cardio in, I make sure I peak in the right time. But like regular day, I would say it depends what months, You give me months, I tell you.
Okay, so let's say during the season.
During the season, is that late in the season or early in the season?
Let's start with preseason.
All right, preseason. All right. So get up. I would say it depends what time is my class, right? If I have morning class, I make sure I get up early and go for a little jog. Do a little bit of lifting. Something simple just to wake up. It's always we call that zaryatka in Ukraine. Just something
Okay.
to just wake you up. So don't lift, nothing really. Maybe do a little body weight stuff. So like some pull-ups, some dips, some stuff like that. Get a little penetration shots, like even in the ground, like simple stuff. And get a little jog in and stretch and go to class. Get some meal in me before class and after class. I ate a lot of like small meals, maybe 5, 6 a day, but like smaller ones. Then we had maybe preseason workout, so we usually play a game or maybe ran and then lifted with the team. And somebody who would like to come to wrestle after, open mat, we did that. And then, and it's play some video games with friends, things like that, and did some homework, and that's about it.
What kind of video games are you into?
Actually, I've taken it back. I was spending a lot of time in like tutoring building because I was struggling with my classes. So I make sure like I'm always there and always working, like improving. So I spent a lot of time in tutoring center. So,
Yeah,
but
I
video,
imagine. Sorry, I
yeah,
was just gonna say, I imagine with the language barrier, like not growing up knowing it, makes classes a lot harder.
I know that was tough. So like writing papers, for example, I'm really bad at it, right? I mean, I can write, but I cannot put it together. I was like always have a hard time. So I always have people help me out a little bit and make sure they like double check before I submit. So that was great.
But sorry, you were gonna mention what video games you played.
Yeah. So let's see. I never liked shooting video games. I've never been good at them. So I stick to like sports. So FIFA was my number one. I love FIFA. I love 2K, NBA. I like that. I think those two is my main one. And then also I like to play a Rory, the just golf game.
Okay,
Just that one too. I like that. And
nice.
that's about it. I don't really play too many. I just like some of the sport ones, like FIFA and NBA was my favorite.
Yeah, I like 2K and Madden, those kind of games, just because, it's like the competitive spirit in you. Man, I just love beating my friends at that stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah. What was the first senior level tournament that you wrestled in?
I was New York Athletic Club tournament, New York Athletic Club, and I was, I believe, October or November of that following year.
What was that transition like to from just college folks out to like full on the senior level?
Um, I was tough. Obviously, it's the competition's a little tougher. The guys are pretty good, and when you just jump in, just nobody really heard about you yet. They don't give you a good seat. So like my first match ever, I wrestled Haslan Garcia. He's Cuban, but he wrestled for Canada, and he's three-time Olympian. So
Okay.
it was my first match, and I remember that match pretty good. Um, I was more of defensive, kind of he was going hard at me, and it was 0-0 after first 2 minutes, and he like head butted me and like got my eye split open,
Oh
and I
God.
remember like wrap around, have all that big tape. I couldn't see much in that one eye, and then he got one takedown and beat me in close one. But I remember he was just super aggressive and just very physical, and I was like, all right, welcome to senior level right here. So
Yeah, that's
so I went 2-2 in that tournament. I won two more matches after that, and then I lost to a guy from Japan, I believe, to go on into third, something like that.
how do what are like the differences in competitors from the college level to the senior level?
Well, some of those guys in senior level, it just been wrestling for such a long time, so it just experience in freestyle especially, they just been doing it for a while, and they just, I don't know, they're just training smarter, I would say, instead of so much train hard. They training smarter and they wrestle smarter instead of just push so much, but they also just timing and everything and just little details they spend on over and over again, with all that time. Yeah, it's completely two different levels.
Yeah, like it seems like from high school to college to the senior level, um, there's at every level there's like smaller separation between the best guys, and like it's just you got to put in so much more work at each level to make those jumps. How have you stayed motivated the last like 4 or 5 years that you've been on the senior level? Because
I just
yeah,
had always believed that I can be that guy, to make a team, because I beat some guys who later on who placed at world championships, who were Olympians. So I knew that they did it. Like, I know I have a pretty good shot in doing it as well. And that's the biggest motivation, I just trying to be the best I can be. And I see if I can beat some good guys. It's just like a huge, mental booster for me. And then I just start believing I know I can, and always improving as an athlete, as a student, always being a student of sport, because I know like exactly what I need to work on, and there's always work to do. Every time you're in the wrestling room, there's always stuff to improve on, and I know exactly what I need to improve on according from competition. Always analyze my mistakes, and that process just keep me motivated all the time.
I know you were on the national team. You were technically a backup to Jordan Burroughs, like one of the best guys in the world. Definitely no shame in that. But how did it help your wrestling just like being around all those guys, like training around all of them?
I pick up different styles from different guys. So I've been training with Dake, with Bros, with a lot of great guys, and everyone has a little different, unique style, and I like to pick up on their brains. Usually, ask some questions, what they do different, how they do this and that. So I like to learn from those kind of guys, because those guys been hitting those moves on a higher level, and always ask questions, and it help a lot. And like, it's pretty much who I am right now, from learning from everybody, especially those guys who've been successful in senior level.
Cool. Awesome. What kind of stuff do you like to do outside of wrestling?
Um, as right now, I love golfing. I
Oh,
love golf.
really?
Sometimes, like, I got a little bit not, nerve wracking before trials or open and things like that, and what can you do that you don't really think about food when you're cutting a little weight, and just spending time outside and being active, and something just to recover and nothing physical. That's golf for me. So I love that. I just take my mind off and just go there and play some golf, and I love it.
Yeah, golf is man, I suck at golf, but it's definitely fun. I'm not gonna do well, but it's fun. Good stuff. And then I just got a couple like matchups that I got for you. So between Yanni, Jo, and Zane, who do you got to make the Olympic team?
Yani, mhm.
And why?
Yeah. It's a tough one. Like all of them are super tough, and all of them can make it.
Hmm.
Um, well, I only wrestle from three of those guys. I only wrestle Jo when I cut to 65 kilos and wrestle 70. And I have two close matches with him, but I lost to him twice. I had leg lace on him to win turn, but he just wouldn't turn. He was like, I don't know how to have those rubber knees. And he wouldn't turn, and he came to me after a match and just like, man, that was so tight. I was like, don't even talk to me right now. I don't want to talk about this. And he just like, yeah, he's a goofy guy, but I like Jo. He's a great guy. Zane, super tough. Zane's pace is just unbelievable, and he's just so solid in every single position. And Yanni, he's just most creative of them all. So they all different. The in the like just to see Jo the last year he wrestled was really impressive. He looked really good. God, I don't know. In that level with those three guys, I would say who has a better day. It's really hard to pick. Like it's really hard to pick, and I cannot just pick one guy because God, all those guys are so even. It's crazy. And Jo picked it up last year. He looked really good. So I might even have to go with him, but I don't know. But like, it's just, it's hard. Both of those guys are really
Yeah.
tough too. So
No, I respect that. Jails looked super good the last year, pretty much. Like super
yeah,
good.
he did. He picked it up. Whatever he was doing, it's working pretty good for him.
Yeah, for real. The next one is Gilman and Fix.
Gilman Fix. So I'm a little closer with Gilman. Thomas, he's a great guy. Never really talked to Fix much, but see, like I feel like Gilman's a gamer. I feel like right now moving out there in Penn State may be a great move for him as well. Maybe it'll be
Definitely.
new. And he's just student of the sport as well. Every time I see him at camp, he always looking to improve, always looking to like improve on those little details here and there. And I think I would have to pick Gilman there one.
What is he like? Just like, what is his demeanor like as a person?
Oh, he's a great guy. Like like sometimes in social media you see like Iowa guys acting up a little bit, being a little different, and and this is great for sport,
Definitely.
they like they making all that hype, and NCAA, and but when I met him for the first time, I was like, God, I didn't expect anything to be him. He's like calm guy. He reading books. He's like very philosophical and just things like that, and it surprised me a little bit, but God, he's a great dude. Hang out with him, go in tournaments, and being roommates with him. Yeah, he's a great dude. I mean, wrestling world, like all of us just pretty close, and everybody just a great guys because they know what hard work is. They know what's they've been there, all of us, so we all respect each other, and yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he sounds like an interesting dude for sure. The next one I got is Kyle Snyder and Jaden Cox.
God, man, this is the toughest one. This is the toughest one. All those questions are tough, but this one, man, God, both of those guys just freak of natures. Both of them. Just Jaden is, man, he just can wrestle from every single position. It seems like he's giving up takedown, but somehow he's getting out of there and just unbelievable. He's he can scramble, but Kyle just so solid at what he does too. It's man, I cannot answer this one. I would love to see all those matchups like right now. Like
Have you ever wrestled like Jaden or Kyle just like messing around?
I messed around with Jaden a little bit.
What is
Jaden
that
like
like?
but it was fun. It was really fun. He's really fun guy to play with, play wrestle. He can play with every single guy, like what doesn't matter on weight. And the way he moves and all that is just super fun.
Yeah, that's probably why his technique is so crazy if he's wrestling guys of all sizes, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
So quick and explosive and strong, yeah.
The last one I got for you, see this is gonna be interesting. It's Gable and Gwiz, and you obviously are around Gable a lot. but then Gwiz is like the guy that's been there for a long time. So
I know this is a tough one. I mean, I've been seeing Gable improve from day to day. He's been improving a lot, and he's younger, and there's more room for him to grow. And he got that extra year. Got to pick Gable there.
yeah, I
I
love
mean,
it.
it's going to be tough. Gwiz is a tough guy to beat for sure, and it's not going to be easy. It's going to be really tough, but I think Gable he can pull it off.
It's been really exciting watching how dominant Gable was the last NCAA season with all those solid heavyweights.
Mm-hmm.
So,
For sure.
but that's pretty much all I got for you, man. Thanks for being willing to do this.
Absolutely. Anytime.